Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Charlie Fibrosis, and I'm kind of surprised I haven't actually talked about what I've been meaning to show off for some time now. Um, guess it just kind of slipped my train of thought, but today I decided to talk about it. So, kind of with everything that's been going on in the world of Star Wars with the Rise of Skywalker and whatnot, I decided I wanted to talk about the item that I have in question today. So a little bit of backstory. So back in September of 2019, as I record this, I went to the Cincinnati Comic Expo. It's an event that I've gone to for about, I think I've gone to now 4 times, or at least prepared to go 4 times, and all the like. And it's actually a pretty fun event. So there's a lot of vendors all over the place. There's a person that sells ocarinas for those who are a fan of The Legend of Zelda. There are people that sell all different types of trinkets, steampunk, all this other stuff. And there was a little corner booth that caught my eye. And they sell lightsabers. Now, I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, all in all. I won't really go into the movies or anything like, but when I was younger, my very first lightsaber, which I still have, just put away, was Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber from Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. Really didn't like the movie, but I was very happy to have a lightsaber. It's kind of funny, though. Lightsabers are actually what got me interested in Star Wars and everything like that. I thought that the ability to wield a laser sword was just the coolest thing ever, and that certainly resonated with me more than blasters or Star Trek. But beside the point. Anyway, so with the design of the old Attack of the Clones lightsaber, I would say probably at that time that was probably more a $40 to $50 lightsaber, which nowadays probably goes for about $20 to $30. All it simply is that it's very similar to like a pointer or a telescoping arm, or a telescopic arm. The 1/3 of the section of the blade is already sticking out, and then you just take the saber and flick it forward, and the second and third parts of the housing slide out with the momentum, and there you go, you have a fully extended blade. Outside layer was colored blue, and if you put, I think, 2 D batteries in there, which are massive and kind of a heavy, you put those into the hilt, you could be able to turn the lightsaber on, and you would have the special effects and everything else like that. More often than not, I would not put batteries in it because it just made it a little bit too heavy and a little bit difficulty to wield. So I just kind of went without for a number of years. So I'm walking by this booth, and personally, I'm a big fan of Luke Skywalker, but their lightsaber for Luke, this is not including the blade, this is just the hilt, is I think about $250. And looking at that, I noped right out of it. They had other sabers too. They had, I think, Kylo Ren's, that was probably like $150 or something like that. And I was just trying to kind of be smart with my money, more or less. So I passed by that booth about maybe 3 times, and I finally just kind of gave in and was like, alright, let's see. What is something that I like the color of, in both the blade color or the LEDs inside, and what is the hilt color that I would like that would work with this. And I settled on this item here. We'll talk about the availability of this because there is a bit of a weird story that kind of flows into this, but this is my lightsaber that I got. It's an apprentice saber, so it was the cheapest of the bunch. I think it was probably about $70, which I would say is kind of fair because here's the thing, this is all made out of metal. There's a rechargeable port here that battery is in the handle here. It is all welded, glued, screwed in together, everything else like that. It is all together. Now I did go ahead and make a couple of changes to the saber. One thing that it initially did not have that I added on later on, if you guys can see it, is you see these black rubber rings here. The problem that I had is down here at the bottom, you can fit your hand in perfectly because it is grooved and cut out for you to hold it that way. Up at the top, if you're using two hands, you can't. I thought that more than anything, having a little bit of rubber to grip would obviously offer a little bit more grip, a little bit more friction in the hand, but also be much more comfortable to hold. And for the most part, I'm gonna right. So the way that I hold it is down where this machine screw is. Pinky lines up there. I accidentally turned it on. Ring finger, middle finger along the second row there, and then index finger and thumb up at the top. And we'll go ahead and shut this off real quick because I'm not ready to show you guys that yet. There are two little inlet screws here, up here at the top, if you guys can see them, right here and right here in the middle. And what you do is you take a little hexagonal bit, and you just stick it in, you unscrew it, and then the blade slides out, and there you go. When you're ready to put it back in, slide the blade in, get the screws in, tighten them down, not too tight so you don't crack the saber, but just tight enough that this is not going to fly off the handle, quite literally. So this one, we'll go ahead and activate it. There's a big button right here in the center. You hit it once, and it lights up. Now, right now I have my saber in mute mode, because this saber is actually kind of cool. So you go ahead and you hold the button down. This is the case for all of the events, but you hold it down for about 3 to 5 seconds, and it shuts off. Now, when it's turned off, you can hold it down for about 3 seconds. Right, and it makes a sound. So now when I activate it, sound comes out of the pommel. And you also have blaster fire deflection. Right? And we can go ahead and shut it off. Alright, hold the button down again. Alright, this is sound font number 2. Alright. Alright, now for number 3. Alright. And once again. And that one, it's muted. So now it essentially becomes a stunt saber. Now this is part of the reason why I got this saber in particular, and why I was glad I learned more about it. So all in all, lightsabers with, they're just stunt ones, is just the metal hilt and then a blade and then the LED inside. And looking as an example, Saber Trio, that makes lightsabers, and I am actually considering picking up one of their sabers eventually. There's stunt saber, so there is no form of electronics. There's no sound. There is only light and powering on, and usually they are run by like running AA or AAA batteries. I like having the option here. If I need to be quiet, I can put this into silent mode and I'm ready to go. If I want to have a duel, if I'm going to fight someone, all I gotta do, just change out the sound font with just the press of a button. There you go. The other part that I like too is as you guys can see on here, down here at the bottom, there's a charge point. They do include a barrel jack charger. According to what I've read, this saber only takes about 4 hours to charge, which actually isn't too bad, to be honest. You could charge this up overnight if you were at a convention. I've never worn the battery down to its minimum power, but there's that. Now, there is one other thing. So if you hold each time you hold the button down, when you're holding it down, you feel a pulse in the saber hilt. When you feel it pulse 3 times, that means it's shutting down. However, when you have it engaged and powered on, and I'm not going to show this just for fear of accidentally sending someone into an epileptic seizure, but when you power it on and it's running, you can hold the button down for 1 pulse when you feel it vibrate and then hit the button again. And what it does is it's a blade lockup. I haven't done enough research actually to figure out if this is a lockup of the saber not working, like how it would in an actual lightsaber, or if this is when you and an opponent are clashing and you're essentially at a stalemate. I've never seen that actually happen, but it does create kind of an interesting design. So I'm going to pause for a moment because I do have something to show you guys. Alright guys, so I've got it up now. So, remember, this is what my lightsaber looks like. So, this is interesting because I found out something kind of crazy when I was looking online a bit later on, because there's something kind of cool about this saber that I kind of thought was possible, but didn't know that it was already made and existed. So down here at the bottom, there's a threading here where the speaker is. And I looked at this and I was like, well, wait a minute. Why would you design a lightsaber that would have the ability to thread something down at the bottom? And my thought was, shortly thereafter, this must mean you can be able to make it a double-ended lightsaber. You can make it like Darth Maul's lightsaber if you wanted to. And then that's where the confusing part of this comes in. So on Amazon, for the price of $78.99, and this is included with Prime, so free shipping, but $78.99. I want you to look at something. The blade is different, but here's the crazy thing. Look here. This is exactly my saber. The only difference is I think they've got one additional screw right in here, and that's it. It's literally the same saber. And just kind of a point of reference at least, let's look over here. This is the coupler. This is the spacer that you can add in at the bottom of this saber here and my saber, or an exact duplicate of it, and then you can make it a dual-ended lightsaber. Now here's where the confusing part is. Now, I was kind of under the impression that this group probably did the creation of the saber all on its own. Most likely not. I think that this saber in particular, which they dub an apprentice saber, which is the cheapest one, this saber, and being the cheapest, I think that they just got it off of Amazon and then sold it. What they do offer, though, and I don't hate on the company for this at all, is they do sell additional electronics. So you can go in and you can buy an LED module, a switch, everything that you need, and you can be able to put it into a hilt. I will say one other thing. Minus these screws up here for the blade tension. Listen here. I don't know if you can hear this, but there is a bit of a rattle inside of it. I don't know if it's a cable or an electronic component that's hitting against the inside of the hilt, but it's there. In addition, this is something that I did figure out and know now. Sometimes, at least with this saber, you do have to screw off the end pommel, and the speaker is down here. There's a bit of mesh wiring down here at the bottom that allows the sound to come through, but sometimes the speaker can get a little loose. It can pop out. You actually can remove the speaker if you wish to, and you can see inside of there. I would think that using just the bit that I was talking about for the blade tension, blade lock, you can also remove these screws here. I have actually wanted to take this apart and just see kind of what makes it tick, but I haven't been able to figure that out yet, and I don't know if I want to, just because I don't want to break this. So here's my thoughts on this. First off, I think that if you're looking more, if you're a bigger diehard Star Wars fan, places like maybe Ultra Sabers or Saber Trio or other places might offer a better lightsaber, but you are going to face a little bit more of a cost. I think with Saber Trio, because they're a company based out of Malaysia, which, like I said, I'm very interested in their products and I may consider getting something from them, but their FX Saber, which is a $199 price hike, along with additional options that you can add on. Plus, on top of that, with me where I am in Ohio, with the fact that the shipping is $65 to the United States, I think by the end of it you're looking at about $300-something. However, what I will say is that I think that for what you'd be buying there, you would probably be getting a longer lasting deal, and there's a lot more cooler customization to be there. If you're just looking for a stunt saber, I would also say there is a good spot. It could be that the shipping and handling is a little bit lower there, but like I said, the price, at least for their most basic lightsaber, with the most basic package, is $79. You can also choose not to get one with a blade if you already have blades to work with. But I will say this. For a starter lightsaber, this is actually not too bad. I am happy with it. I am especially happy that the blade color, the LED is blue. Blue is my favorite color. I think that this, all in all, is a great starter saber for how simple the product design is and how it's made. Is it the best thing made? No. But I would say that if you are looking to get into saber dueling or whatever the case may be, which is something that I do have an interest in, potentially in picking up, this is not a bad saber to start with. And in addition, you're not really paying anything extra for the electronics. It's essentially just gutted from a Hasbro lightsaber, more or less, and stuck in here. So it does have, when it gets struck, there is clash there. And it has other pieces and parts to it that, I've never seen in a lightsaber before at such a low price, really. And like I said, this is made out of metal. It's not made out of plastic for the hilt. So this can take really, really good drops and everything like that, and it's not going to break. You might damage internal components if you drop it too hard, obviously, but I think that this is really good all in all. I do feel a little weird with it just being easily sold and bought on Amazon. Like I said, I think that what they probably did was they went ahead, bought the saber, added their own electronic pieces to it, and made it a little bit more custom, which I like. But it is kind of odd. It's kind of like looking into a mirror and seeing something similar, but just ever so slightly different. It's uncomfortable. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. I'll see you again very soon. I've got an interesting video coming up that's a little bit of a blast to the past, and I will see you then. Until then, may the Force be with you.